Hey guys! Welcome to Free Tutorial TV and Python tutorial for beginner. In the last video we have seen how to use exception handling in Python and we have seen how to use this try except statement in order to catch the exceptions. In this video also we will talk more about exception handling in Python. And we will talk about as and finally statement with this try except statement. So I will be using the same code which I have used in the last video. So I will highly recommend you to watch the last video if you haven't seen that. Now to start with, at the end of this try except statement, you can also use the else statement. So you can just write as, and for now I will just print here for example underscore as else underscore as. And also we can use a keyword called finally with our try except statement. And here also I'm going to just print underscore as or finally underscore as. So what does this else and finally statement do? Let's see. By running our program. So I'm going to run the program. And now I'm going to give some valid input, so that our program will not throw any errors. So I'm going to just divide 10 by 5 and then press enter. And you will see what is printed here. So first of all else is printed. Then finally is printed and then the result is printed using this print statement. And then at the end this and string is printed. So in this scenario there was no exception thrown by the code. That's why none of these exception statements are printed. So you can use else statement whenever your code doesn't throw any exception. So whenever your code doesn't throw any exception, else statement will be executed. But when this finally statement is executed. So let me give you one more scenario. And then we will discuss about the final statement. And this time I'm going to intentionally write 0 here. Is going to throw the exception. And I'm going to press enter. And you can see 0 division error is thrown, which is caught here, and this statement is printed first. And then this finally the keyword is printed using this statement. And at the end these 2 lines of code are executed. So once again let's talk about that statement. You can see whenever your code throws an exception, then this as statement will not be executed. The else statement will only be executed whenever your code doesn't throw any exception. But what with finally a statement? So we have seen in the case of an exception this finally is printed. And in the case of no exception, also this finally is printed. So this finally statement is guaranteed to be executed, whether exception occurs or does not occur through. The only code which is guaranteed to be executed in all these lines is the final statement. Finally, a statement is always executed whether your code throws any error or it doesn't throw any arrow. Now in which case is you might want to use this finally statement. So sometimes whenever you use files you need to close these files after opening them. Whether the exception occurs or not, it is mandatory to close your files. And in those cases you can use this final statement. The next example is, for example, you are using any database and you are opening that database. Right. And for some reason your connection is lost with your database, then the exception is thrown. And in the final statement, you can reconnect to your database using the reconnect code of that database. So in finding statement you would want to execute that code, which you would think that have to be executed, whether it happens or does not happen. So in all those scenarios you can use the finally statement. Now the next question arises is whether we can use this else and finally a statement without the except statement. The answer is you can already see here. No. So you cannot use else statement without that except statements. So you have to use except in order to use this else statement. But when I remove the except and the else statement you can see their error now. So you can use that try and finally without the use of except or else statement. Because the code under finally will always be executed, whether your call throws any error or not. So it's independent of this except statement or else statement. So this is how you can use else. And finally, statements made that try and accept keywords. I hope you have learned something new this time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. See you in next video.